today I planned to talk a little bit about the tool SQL Sandbox. That's also a Forge component, pretty useful for you guys who hadn't had the chance to work with it. It's been built by a couple of smart guys out there. And yeah, I just plan to demo a few of its features. First thing, the idea is to share with you some ideas of how to boost dev productivity whenever you need to have access to database. Quick introduction about myself. I'm currently the head of product delivery at Phoenix DX, and also an OutSystems MVP. So, and also one of my functions at Phoenix is to lead the tech lead chapter. So pretty much everyone here in this call today is part of our chapter. So we all work together at Phoenix as tech leads. Quick agenda for this quick talk. So I'm gonna give you a very brief introduction of the component, SQL Sandbox. We're gonna do a quick demo on how you can interact with the tool how you can use the tool to interact with the OutSystems meta model as well. So the internal metadata of the platform. We're going to explore some app data as well and play around with how you can extract data out of your OutSystems applications, some cool features as well, and hardening security in the end. So for the ones who didn't have the chance to come across the component, that's it, SQL Sandbox. You can download it from Forge. It's been created by Leonardo. And we've been contributing as well with some minor features added for. We've been playing with this component for what, 3 years already, almost 3 years. Yeah, and considering the reviews and the number of downloads, I think it's pretty useful for developers. It's one of those tabs on Google Chrome that never leaves. So it's almost there, stuck to my browser. Let's start with some basic stuff. What you guys are seeing on the right-hand side on my screen is actually the tool, SQL Sandbox. I've just zoomed in on it so that we can show details of the tool. So first, a menu. Let me first walk through the very first view of the app. Hopefully my session is still there. Cool. So the very first screen in the app is actually a list of projects, list of applications, and the modules where you can find entities, so data concepts in your infrastructure. I'm actually connected to my personal environment here, and these are the applications I can see. I'm gonna start with a very basic application just to show you how you can interact with the basic stuff. So um, let's assume I know that the product catalog CS module has entities in it, and I want to give it a go and see what products I have in the database. That's a very quick example of how you can get the top 10 records in the products table. But of course, I can also delve into the tables that are part of this module. Um, this text area here has a code complete feature, which is pretty useful. So the moment you type um, brackets, you get to see the list of tables available in that module. So you can see the product category, the list of product categories. You get to see the list of favorites. In this case, it must be empty. You get to see also the users table. It's actually the native users table in the platform. Happy I didn't disclose my passwords here. And so that's interesting to see what you can do. What pretty much you type in the command field here is an advanced query. So it's pretty useful for troubleshooting whenever you having those performance issues and you want to bring the query out of Server Studio so that you have a more um, a quicker and a better experience when you're investigating your commands. You want to play around with variables, and you don't want to necessarily build, for example, an output structure in your advanced query in Server Studio. So it's pretty handy. you can see all the fields are dynamically assembled on the result section. Another thing I wanted to explore is that you can also have access to the OutSystems meta model. This is just a list of a few of the tables you can have access to. Through the OutSystems meta model, you can have access to controls that you normally don't have access through Service Studio. Variables that are available on Service Center, for example, you can have access to the list of site properties. But if you want, for example, to keep a list of your favorite site properties or of all the site properties in an application you're working on, you can have quick access to it through SQL Sandbox as well. So let's play around with some useful comments. For example, if I want to have the list of available modules in a specific application. So I have the OutSystems sample data app. It's one of those dummy sample applications available on the Forge. You can see the list of modules that belong to that application with this SQL statement. Just goes through some of the internal OutSystems metadata tables. And in this case, I'm just fetching two fields, the eSpace name and the entity name. But you will have access to pretty much all the fields in the platform. So for sorry about that, the right place. So for sorry about that again, forgot the space here. If you want to see all the fields in the entity table, you get to see even its physical name, whether it's a multi-tenant table, whether it's active or not, if it's a system or external table. So pretty much all the metadata that the OutSystems leverages in its own tools, you have access through SQL Sandbox as well, by knowing the meta model. It's all the metadata is documented in official OutSystems documentation, guys, so it's all available publicly. Another example here, pretty similar to the previous one, is what if I want to have access to all the attributes in tables? So all the attributes you create through Service Studio, you can get access to it here as well easily. That's something I've been using quite often. So whenever I need to assess requirements around data migration, imagine the clients want to bring data from one application to the other within the same environment, or you need to provide a thorough documentation to your client. You can easily extract the data from straight from the OutSystems database through a simple command. In this case, I'm listing all the entities available in my environment for the OutSystems sample app with the list of attributes. Its data type. When it's a foreign key, it's represented with the target tables GUID, the key for the target table. I won't delve into details, but there is a way to get to the table if need be, and the length in case it's a text field. So as you can see, it's pretty straightforward to get access to the metadata. Another interesting, super useful command is when you want to have access to timers, for example. Of course, it's information available on Service Center, but sometimes you want to have more flexibility. Like I want to I want to have the list of all the timers available in my infrastructure and all their schedules, and make sure that my async jobs are healthy and well configured in the environment. That's a pretty common use case as well. For example, by using a command like this, I was able to identify once that there was a timer running every 5 minutes, and there was not a good setup in a very complex, a very robust infrastructure. And there was a pretty heavy timer. By checking its current schedule, and we didn't really know what was causing production issue. It was a new environment. So we just sent over this comment straight away to the client, asked them to run it in their production environments, and we didn't even have access to Service Center. So with a quick command, we were able to identify what was causing a problem. Um, of course, it's just a way to troubleshoot timer problems. Um, and just really quick, apart from metadata, of course, you can also explore some applicational data. So in this example here, I'm not gonna say what it does. I just wanted to invite you guys to drop on the chat what this command is supposed to deliver in the result set. Of course, it's over the OutSystems user table. And the user table is a native OutSystems table, but it's an applicational table, right? It's where OutSystems stores its end user accounts, and it's the main table used in the /users app. So for whoever here has managed end user accounts, you know what table I'm talking about. I'll leave the challenge there and drop your comments if you want to. Um, if you want to. Uh, in SQL Sandbox, we can also interact with data, so we can manipulate information. You're not limited to data retrieval scenarios. You can update data. But of course, I don't want to run comments like these, right? I really want to be, because my career might be in jeopardy if I do something like this, right? So that's an irresponsible update script. And bear with me, guys. I'm just in a zoomed in view in the screen, and apparently Nad and I didn't test responsiveness quite well. So the idea here is that it's an update command, right? And we don't want irresponsible update commands running on any environment, especially production environment. Imagine an update without aware. I've seen a lot of interns being fired because of commands like these. So yeah, it's just really safe net to allow you not to mess around with the data in your production environments, and some cool features. Really quickly introducing you guys to some of the cool features in the application. So first, here at the bottom section of the screen, you have access to the history of the commands you run in your session. So you can have quick access to a command if you want to reuse it. You see that it's populated at the top, and you can rerun it very quickly. Another quick and interesting feature is you can save commands so that you can reuse them on a future session. And if you go to the menu, you get to see the command is saved there. So you know those useful commands that you run every other day, every other week, or you want to have them at the click of a button, so you can save them to reuse later. We just get back to the previous view, and then it can also be used, which is a pretty interesting feature, to download binary content from the database. So in this example, I'm again exploring a metadata table, the eSpace version, which is where OutSystems stores all the OML files, all the extensions that are sent to the server whenever you publish something through Service Studio. And if I want to download that binary, we get to see the file here in the OML file attribute. You can download the file. It's going to download the generic dummy extension. The moment you rename it to an OML, because you know this file is an OML, you can easily open it in Studio, for example. So it's pretty useful for scenarios where you want to download files that clients upload, or end users upload, or whenever you're debugging to make sure that the logic you apply over uploaded files is okay and the file is stored safely on the server side on the database. It can also be used to download deleted files. Thanks, Leo. If I want to see all the old deleted modules, that's what you can do. But the problem is OutSystems zeroes down the file. The old space version is there, but the file is zero down. It's probably because I cleaned the old space version in my environment actually.
Yeah.
Another interesting feature is you can save pretty much any result set as a CSV. So imagine that you can send the payload over to someone and like a useful result set like this, and you want to export it to a CSV, easily extracted to CSV file that can be easily be opened on an Excel as an Excel spreadsheet, as you can see here. So pretty useful for troubleshooting as well. Another interesting feature is you can see, you can browse the entities on the module you have open at the moment. So if you go browse entities, you get to see the list of entities currently sitting on your environment. You get to mark them as favorite, so they're displayed at the top. Let me improve the responsiveness of the screen. Beautiful, way better. So you get to see all the tables, the module they belong to, their physical name, and you can quickly assemble select or update statements for them. So when you click select statement, you get the select statement built in here with all the fields. Sorry, clicked the wrong place. And you can also not only navigate through your favorite tables, but you have access to all the tables in the system. So for example, if I want to see the users table, there's a search here at the top, and you really can have access to pretty much everything in your database. Last but not least, another cool feature is how you can harden security. You can give people, which can be your developers. It turns out to be an end user application, so you need to create your developers end user accounts. And if you want to give, for example, not that it needs to be a rule of thumb, but if you want to give your tech leads full access to all the database, to all the tables, so that they can run insert, update, and delete commands, you can give them a DML access. By the way, you're gonna need this knowledge in a couple of minutes. Mark my words. And if you want to give your junior developers, for example, people that might not be too confident on the commands they're going to run, you can give them only select access. So they're going to have a read-only access pretty much. This, by the way, was contribution from another MVP. He's part of the SQL Sandbox team, and he's been contributing to the component. Feel free to drop your suggestions, new features, new ideas. We're happy to keep improving the component to address your needs. That's me. Thank you.